It's October when I'm filming this. To be accurate, it's the 22nd of October. And a couple of nights ago, I got absolutely bitten to ras by a blinking mosquito. I did kill it. And is it better when you kill it and it's full of your blood? Or is that worse? I don't know. Anyway, I did. And it was. But and then later when I was kind of looking at counting them up, all these bites all over my hands, and even look, I've still probably got a little bit. There's one on my face, look there. And there was one under here. And here. Anyway, but it reminded me of when I was about 8 probably. And I was on holiday in Wales. It was me and my mum and my dad went to stay with some friends of theirs who lived quite middle of nowhere. And they had 2 little boys, Scott and David. And Scott and David and I went out one afternoon playing Mountaineers, and we'd seen pictures and everything. And so we tied ourselves together, and we got our parents to come and do proper knots. And we went down the way path, and then there was a scrobbly slope of hill up to the top where the cottage was. So we started off, and I was in the lead, Miss Bossy Boots. And then Scott behind me and David, the youngest, at the end, scrobbling up. We suddenly turned round, Scott and I, turned round, and we can just see David like doing this kind of crazy mad dance. And what the hell is the matter with him? What are you doing? With, you know, he was a weird kid anyway. Well, we all were, I suppose. Anyway, so then, and we're getting pulled down the slope because of the being tied together. And then I see Scott joining in with the kind of crazy mad dance thing. What the bloody hell is going on? I see. It's beasties, it's some sort of alien, ghost, elf, Welsh land takeover, I don't know, spirit takeover, possession, that's it, you know. And so I just remember I was hanging onto this tree and one hand on the branch and then trying to use my other hand to undo the knot behind. And then it hit me. The wasps. Yeah. So that's what had happened. David had stood in the wasp's nest. Ooh, and then Scott. Ooh, and then they had finally got to me. And I now have a moment of blank from the hanging onto the tree and trying to do this. Then I don't know what. And then my Uncle Mike arrived and undid me, and I just ran ka-chow, back down the slope and up the path. And I remember running. My mum and dad, Uncle Mike had to come and save us, not my father. And there's a little family group at the end of the path, and I go, family group, oh, wonderful, wonderful. And I've got wasps everywhere in my hair, up my nose. I remember having one up my nose, and I was trying not to breathe, so I didn't breathe a wasp into my brain and die. They're just in my mouth, they're everywhere. And I go, where's my daddy? And my dad takes a rolled up newspaper and just starts biffing me with it. Biff, 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 get rid of them. Biff, biff. Which, you know, I suppose was an okay idea, but it didn't feel like the sort of comfort I required at the time. And then it literally went and wrapped me in vinegar and brown paper. And then we went home the next day because, you know, who needs that? So we went back to our little Birmingham suburb. And then and that's right, and I drew a map. I kept it in my little diary. I drew a map of my face, of where all the stings were, 44 on my face alone, and then less, you know, like a body of where the others were. I think it was something ridiculous, like 117 altogether. It was just some ridiculous number. But anyway, healed quite well due to the traditional vinegar and brown paper cure. And then the next weekend, I just went out with some mates and climbed some trees. And I sat on a wasp. And I came in and I was like itching at it. And my mum went, "What just scratching your ass for?" And I went, "Oh, I sat in a wasp, on a wasp." She's like, "Well, why didn't you come and get me? I'd come and put some bicarb on it or something." And I just went, "It's only one." So yes, you know, Vespian hordes from that moment on held no fear for me whatsoever, and still don't. You won't find me flopping about in a beer garden, no sir.